or monitor vital functions of patients in a hospital, or rearrange composition of a newspaper page. Or keep track of all sorts of information from many different people at once. Savings and loan banks, for example, use computers to calculate all the daily compounded interest for each and every depositor. So any customer can find out how much is in their account at any time. The computer does it automatically, without errors, and very, very fast. But Jane, asks Harry, how does a computer remember all this information? A string on the finger, maybe? With the memory, says Jane. Oh, yeah, the memory, says Harry. I forgot. All computers have a central memory for extra fast storage and retrieval of information. And if a computer needs more storage capacity, it can have other memory devices, such as this disk, which usually holds hundreds of times more information than the central memory does. A disk works much like a phonograph record, except that it uses magnetic coding. A magnetic tape can hold even more information than a disk, and it works very much like a tape recorder. Hey, says Harry, that's the kind I always see in the movies. Right, says Jane. It's a very common memory device, because it's so handy. You can take a tape full of information and put it away until you need it. Which you can also do with this. This, says Harry, this is just a plain tape cassette, which, says Jane, records music on magnetic tape. Well, the same kind of cassette can be used by the computer to store programs and data. Okay, says Harry, we have this memory thing here, and it can store the computer program, and it can store the data. So then what? Output is what, says Jane? The computer will give you the result of what it has done through the output device. Now, the most common output device is the line printer, which prints the results on computer paper. Or the output can be in the form of magnetic tapes, discs, or cassettes. Or a terminal can be used as an output device. Wait a minute, says Harry. Wait a minute. Isn't a terminal an input device? Right again, Harry. A terminal is usually both an input and an output device, especially when you want to exchange information with the computer. Like an airline ticketing agent does, for example. First, telling the computer what flight the passenger wants. Then the computer telling the agent what's available. Then the agent telling the computer what flight, seat, and class to reserve. Then the computer confirming the reservation. And sometimes even printing a boarding pass right then for the agent to give to the passenger. Input, processing, memory, and output. Harry is beginning to get the hang of it all. But he's also wondering if all this equipment isn't pretty expensive. I mean, says Harry, a big computer like this must cost, what, $1 million? Well, says Jane, there are ways to keep the cost down. One way is to use a small computer, maybe even a specialized one, with a built-in program. Another way is to use a technique called time sharing. In time sharing, many different places and people use the same computer and at the same time. They may work from many remote terminals, terminals that can be far away from the computer's central processing unit and memory, but are linked together, often by ordinary telephone lines. remote terminals can also be put into any office. Or if the user moves around a lot, there are portable terminals, which can be used any place where there is a telephone. But after all these basic computer terms, Harry is still worrying. Harry is a worrier. Listen, he says, if these machines do all this thinking, Harry, says Jane, computers don't think. It's us people who do the thinking. Computers simply process the data that you give them. And they process it in the way you tell them. The way I tell them? If this computer thing has to listen to me to know what to do, we may be in trouble in here. I'm no Einstein, you know what I mean? To tell the truth, says Jane, neither am I. But, it isn't all that hard. Almost anybody can learn to use a computer these days. Anybody, asks Harry. Anybody, says Jane. Well, the end of the story is that Harry thanks Jane for her help and learns to use the computer terminal that is now right in his office, which helps him catch up on all those back orders and generally keep track of things much better than before. In fact, Harry is even thinking of cleaning up his office. Although you gotta remember, says Harry, you don't want to do too many new things at the same time, right? Right, Harry.